Hi, it's me, Crystal. So, if you saw my last video or if you didn't see my last video, I basically said that I've not made a video in a while because I fell down and I couldn't get back up again. And I've managed to pick myself back up. I'm having a good last couple of days. So I'm like, let's capitalize on this good mood while it lasts and make some videos for anybody who wants an update. So, hi. Okay, so I'm gonna do a goals video and then I'm gonna do a writing update video because I do not want to edit a 45-minute video and there's just no way that I can get through everything that I want to say in a way that makes sense in one video. I mean, you'd think I would be able to do that, but every time I try, it just goes on too long. So I tried to make a goal update video like at the very beginning of the year to do like a fourth quarter goal wrap up and then do like a first quarter goal video, but I was not doing well. And I started crying. And I tried to continue on with the video, but it was very obvious that I'd been crying. My voice cracked, my eyes were red, and I was like, okay, just stop and wait until you feel better. So then I thought I felt better and I tried again. And I filmed the video and I got to the end and I started crying again. And I was like, whatever, the video is almost over, but then I broke down when the video was over and never got around to editing the video. And then like after a couple weeks I'm like, oh, it's just super outdated and just forget it, and like nobody even cares, and I don't even know if I care. My goals are super boring anyway. So yes, I did not have a good start to the year. Very bad start to the year. Depression, very high levels, probably at a 9 out of 10. And 10 is like just everything's dark all the time. So I was at like a 9.5. There was a little bit of light, but who knows where it was coming from. So, okay, and so then a couple bad things happened. Not to me. I don't really want to get into it because it's kind of dark, but I also don't want to be too vague because I don't like when other people do that. But there were a couple of people who died very suddenly at the beginning of the year, like a couple weeks apart or something, and they were both sudden and not. Sometimes when people die really suddenly, especially if it's kind of awful, and it was awful, I don't take it very well, and so it was just like the year already was bad. The year was already bad, and then that happened, and then somebody else died, and then I was like, people please stop dying. And then like there were like planes crashing too, and I was just like, this is awful. So I was like, this is just gonna be terrible. And then I was watching some YouTuber and she was like, this is gonna be a great year. And I was just like, God, what are you smoking? But the year has gotten better, and I think it's fine now. I think we're good. So I'm gonna do an update video, and then I'm gonna make a separate video to do a writing update, because even though I am feeling a lot better, I've been having a good week, I've been having a good like last few days, I don't want to push the mental bandwidth by trying to edit a 45-minute video, so we're not gonna do that. Okay. Even though I'm gonna end up editing for that long anyway, it'll make me feel better if it's not one 45-minute video. Okay. And also, I think I'll be able to stay more focused and make more sense if I just focus on one task at a time. So this is going to be the goal update video for anyone who's interested in that. And then I will make a separate writing update video for anyone who's interested in that. And yeah, let's get started. This is one of those things that you just like gotta do it when you feel like doing it. Do you know what I mean? So I pulled out last year's planner so that I could see what my goals were. Like, I know that I met every goal except for one, but I just want to show you something right quick. Look at the level of thickness between last year's planner and this year's planner. Like, isn't that just so funny? Okay, so Q4 goals. So I had 4 goals for the first quarter, so not too ambitious. So one of them was I wanted to save a certain amount of money. I got close, so I counted this goal as done. I ended up adjusting it because I had an increase in my HOA, which is really annoying. But I did have the money, so I'm like, I'm going to count this as done because that's not my fault. And then my second goal was to read 15 books and meet my 2024 reading goal. So my 2024 reading goal, I think, was 60 books. I think I read 61 because one of the books wasn't on Goodreads. I'd read like PDF that somebody had published to their website, and I counted in my reading journal, but it's not on Goodreads, so I had to read an extra book. But I did do this. I read the 15 books and I met my reading goal. I read 15 or 16 books, whatever. And I met my reading goal for 2024. And my third goal was to edit and query my sci-fi suspense with horror overlay called Artificial. And I did that. And my fourth goal was to write 10,000 words in my botanist project. So I think that's where I left things off. I was planning on writing my botanist project after a little bit of a mental break from finishing the book, and I did not do this. So I changed it to this story called Pinewood Falls that my sister picked. So I'm like, can you pick something for me to write? Because I feel like writing, but I don't want to write the botanist project because every time I try to write it, I feel like I'm forcing it. I want to write something else. And I might get into that more in my writing update video, but just like for this video, I felt like I was gonna have to force it, and I'm not really in the business of forcing myself to write stuff. I'm like, I have other ideas. Just pick something that you actually want to write more. You obviously don't want to write this right now. Or at all, maybe. So I switched to Pinewood Falls, which is a paranormal book, and I've kind of been, I'll talk about this in my writing update, kind of not been wanting to write paranormal because I got super traumatized the last time I was writing and querying paranormal and nobody cared. Or a few people cared, but not enough that I could get anywhere with it. So I was trying to do other stuff. But asked my sister to pick a random project and just to help me because I'm like, I have too many options. I don't know what to pick, which is a good problem to have for the most part. There's its downsides. Decision paralysis, things like that. And I started working on the book and I liked it. Like, I liked the world, I liked the writing, and I'm like, oh, the writing is so good. Which was fun because at the time I was working on it before was when I was like super burned out after I was self-publishing and I crashed and burned, and everything I wrote, I just thought it sucked so bad. So to pick this up and see that the writing was actually good was a nice like morale boost. So, but the main character she's not really what I want right now. I'll get more into in my writing update video, but then again, just to not be super vague. But so then I switched the goal to write 10,000 words in Pinewood Falls. And then I decided that I really like the main character, but I want somebody unstable, and she's not unstable. Like right now in this season, I want a main character who's unstable. So I changed the goal to write any amount and any project that I'm sticking with, and I still didn't do it. But I met 3 out of 4 goals for the 4th quarter of the year. And I don't normally go over my monthly goals, but I will, just so you can see how completely lame some of them are, especially for this year. So my October goals were to edit Artificial, which I did, query Artificial, which I did, save some money, which I did, read 5 books, which I did, and my 5th goal, which I didn't meet, was to write any number of words. I didn't care. And I wrote a note that said I just didn't feel like it. So November, I wanted to write any number of words. I did write in November. Then read 5 books, which I did, save some money, which I did, and finish the Bhagavad Gita, which I did. So you may or may not know, but one of my goals for 2024, I usually just make quarterly goals and then break them down monthly. But sometimes I have 1 or 2 yearly goals that I'll also break down quarterly. And one of my goals for 2024 was to read the Bhagavad Gita. And I started off, well, good enough. I think my first quarter of 2024, I wanted to read like the first part of the book, and I did that, and then I didn't touch it again until November. And we're getting to the end of the year. I was reflecting on everything, and I'm just like, will you read this book? It's not that long. And I actually liked it, so that's good. So then in December, for some reason I had a goal to buy contacts. I don't know why I needed a reminder, but I did. So I bought some contacts. And then I saved some money. And I met my reading goal. And then my fourth goal, which I didn't meet, was to write 5,000 words. And I just put that I gave up. But then I changed my mind and I wrote it on there again. And then I crossed it out again. So we were doing well. Wow. Sarcasm. So, oh, if you want to know, my favorite reads of 2024 were The Opposite of Butterfly Hunting by Ivana Lynch. Or Ivana Lynch. I think I say it the English way. I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Beyond the Wand by Tom Felton. And believe it or not, The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. I wasn't going to read this, but I got super curious. I was a big Britney Spears fan. Huge fan in high school and like early college. And I loved this so much. It made me cry. So, just if you were curious. Okay, moving on to 2025. So, look how cute this is. I know I'm patting myself on the back, but so cute. Oh, and if you want to know what this quote says, it says, "The real failure occurs when you're so afraid to mess up that you don't make an effort." It's by Gracie Gold from her book, Out of Shape, Worthless Loser, which I read last year. I read a lot of really good memoirs last year. Very memoir heavy year. Okay, so for the first quarter of this year, which covers January, February, March, I had 4 goals. I was not doing well mentally. So these goals are not super exciting. So I wanted to save some money in my retirement account. I wanted to save a certain amount. I did save money, but I didn't save the certain amount because I had a couple of things come up in my car, which was really annoying. I actually blew same tire out 2 times. I can drive, okay? I got something in my tire the first time that ripped a hole in my tire. And the second time, it was my fault. But we don't have to talk about it. It was super embarrassing. With the same tire. But at least the first tire was used, so it wasn't that expensive at least. But after that, I'm like, just get a tire. It's fine. So I've been fine. But then I had some kind of like transmission axle that was like banging around in my car, which cost more than like basic maintenance. So that was annoying, but I was like, I'm just thankful I can pay for it. So we're not gonna like dwell on it too much. Okay, so I want to save some money in my car fund, and I did that, and I wanted to work on the story notes for the story that I had decided to write. At the beginning of the year, I changed my mind. I will talk about that in the writing update video. It will come up a little bit, though, in here. And then I wanted to read 20 books. Okay, those were my 4 goals for the first quarter. Save money in my retirement fund, which I didn't count as done. It's kind of not my fault, but whatever. But I did meet the goal, though. And save some money in my car fund, which I did. Organize some story notes for this one story, and then read 20 books. I didn't know why I picked such a lofty reading goal in the beginning of this year when I came into this year like level 9.5 depressed. Like, but whatever. So I'll just do my monthly goals too. So I want to save some money in my car fund, which I did. I want to save some money in my retirement fund, which I did. I wanted to work on my story notes, which I did. And I wanted to read 7 books, which I did not do. So that's January. Moving on to February. My first goal was to file my taxes, which I did. My second goal was to read 7 books, which I didn't do. And my third goal was to visit an art gallery, which I did do. And I bought a painting, which was fun. So March. I want to save some money in my retirement account, which I did. Save some money in my car fund, which I did. I want to write 2 chapters. I don't know what the first book is because I covered it up. But the second book was the story called Discarded. And then I crossed that out and put the story that I'm calling Mirror. I did do this. I did write 2 chapters. I think I wrote 3 chapters or 3 or 4 chapters in that book. I'm going to have to circle back to it, but I'll talk about that later. But I did do this, and then I wanted to read 10 books. Again, with the lofty reading goals for the beginning of the year. When I did not have the energy. or the desire to read much. Okay, so now we're in April. Look at my April quote. Okay, I'll read it. It says, I'm convinced that fear is at the root of most bad writing. Stephen King from On Writing. That was timely. Okay, so my goals for the second quarter of the year, which is the current quarter, April, May, and June. I wanted to save some money in my retirement account. Now, I should actually do this. This is the rest of the goal from the previous quarter that I didn't get to do because I had to pay for stuff in my car. But, so I should get this done. This should be finished next month. And I wanted to save some money in my car fund. I don't think I'm going to get as much money as I wrote down. But I will have some money in there. Okay, my third goal was to read 20 books. I'm not going to do this. I've read like 15 books all year, which is good. I'm happy with my progress. I'm only like 6 books behind my reading goal, which is crazy. I just think it's funny that I keep picking like these big, lofty reading goals. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm not writing, so let me just whatever. I'm just going to read a lot. No, we're just going to be a depressed person. Okay, so my fourth goal was to do something sociable. I am going to count this as done because I have been technically sociable. But it's not what I meant. Like, I've gone to the movies a couple of times. We've had Easter. We've had Mother's Day. I did socialize with family. But that's not really what I meant when I wrote this goal. But I was trying to, like, get out of my comfort zone. But I was like, when you are in the middle of being miserable, this is not the right time for this kind of goal. And I knew that when I wrote it down. But I'm like, let's try, okay? But I realized that now's not the time for this. So I'm going to count this as done, though, because I have left the house for something other than work. So my fifth goal, and I can count this as done as well, was to work on one of these 4 projects. So I've already mentioned 2 projects. My botanist project, Pinewood Falls. So now I have Blackbird Manor, which is supernatural horror, Discarded, which is paranormal, this book called Mirror, which is right now, I'm just going to call it horror. I don't know what the first tag is going to be, but it's in my wheelhouse. I do want to go back to this. And I did work on that story, and I also worked on Discarded some too, so I definitely worked on one of these projects. And the 4th one was Sparrow, which is paranormal. And I was like, just write something in any of these projects. All of them, I don't care. Just work on something. So I did do this. So that goal is met already. And I'm going to count my sociable goals met. The reading goal is not going to happen unless I just read a bunch of books between now and the end of June, which I doubt it. And then we'll see what I can get in my car fund. I'm going to try to have a no spend month in June, or a low spend month, and see if I can get some more money saved and meet these savings goals. Because, you know, sometimes your car will set you back a smidge. And yeah, my retirement goal should be good as soon as June gets rolling. So those are my goals for the second quarter. Put money in my retirement account, put money in my car fund, read. Leave the house. And work on something, anything. And I've done that. So yeah, so my monthly goals are just kind of related to that. They are super boring. I can read them. They're just not exciting. But in April, I wanted to save money in retirement in my car fund, which didn't happen because car. I wanted to read 5 books, which I did not read 5 books in April. I wanted to, I don't even want to talk about it. I had this goal to, like, put something for sale on Etsy, and I didn't feel like doing it. So I didn't do that. And, I totally forgot about that too. Anyway, and then write 2 chapters and one of those stories. Blackbird Manor, Discarded, Mirror, Sparrow. I did do this. So I met 1 goal in April. We were doing well. And in May, let's look at May's quote. So pretty. It says, "It's not bragging if you can back it up." Shonda Rhimes. I'm trying. Okay. So my goals for May was to save some money, which I did. Read 10 books. I don't know if I'm going to get 10 books read in May. I'm going to do a lot of reading like this last stretch, but we'll see. I wanted to not stress myself out. I think I can count this as done. I have done better. Not as good as I wanted to do, but better is better. So I put a goal in here to clean the bathrooms, which I've already done twice since I wrote it on here. Sometimes it's small wins, okay? Just, we gotta get those wins in. I think my 5th goal for May is to not put anything, like, don't do too much, you know? Like, don't do too much with the to-do list. Don't put any lofty goals on the to-do list. Don't do too much. So, those are my goals. That's what I've been doing. Just trying to save some money and read, do some writing, whatever. I don't have any writing goals for May, but I have been doing some writing this month, so. Oh, and if you didn't see my planner video, let me show you what my layout looks like right quick before we leave. So this is the last week of May. I have laundry here because that's going to be a laundry day. It doesn't have to be that day, just this weekend. But look how freaking cute this is. My to-do list, my tracker, which so far has been a habit tracker, but I just put tracker in case I wanted to do a mood tracker, and there's several months left of the year, so we'll see if I use it as that, and if I don't, then I'll just change it back to habit tracker for next year. I really like this layout. It's working super well for me. So anyway, so that's all for this video. I'm going to make another video. So I'll have like 3 videos out by sometime in June. So I'm going to do a writing update video for anyone who's interested. Because I have a lot to say about the writing. And yeah. So anyway, that's all for this video. I am doing much better. You know, the sun actually was even shining today. We've gotten so much rain. We've been getting so much rain in Tennessee. Like, it's been raining almost every day. I'm so sick of it. But the sun was actually shining today. Plus, I've had a good, like, last handful of days. So, feeling a lot better. So, yeah. We're not at 9 anymore. We're not at 9, 9.5 on a sad girl scale anymore. So, I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. You want it to last forever, but you know it won't. Anyway, so that's all for this video, and I'll have at least one more video coming up. I don't have any plans specifically to talk about anything specific, but who knows? But that's all for this video. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Spread fingers.